Crank up the charisma, Sam. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Curate Study. Hang on a minute, I forgot what we're doing. What are we doing, Sam?
Doing Kids Club.
It's Kids Club. Of course it is. We're back again for another episode of Kids Club, my friend. And it's great to have you here with us. What we haven't got today, what I've noticed over the previous weeks, you know, the episodes that people like to watch is the episodes when we have dogs involved. So maybe we should get one of the dogs in. Hang on a minute. Lola! Come. Here she is. It's Lola's come to see us. She's very well behaved. If I called the other dog Thor, he might well not turn up. Let's try and see if he comes, shall we? Thor, come on. Come. No, he's not coming. If I had food, he'd come, of course. If I had an apple, he loves apples. But Lola just comes because she's very obedient and a very good girl. Anyway, after that bit of a diversion, Sam, what are we doing today?
Okay, so you've got a story, a bit of craft, as always, a prayer.
Sorry, that was Lola groaning. It wasn't my stomach. I have had my lunch. Oh, hang on a second. Oh no! Look, here he is. Thor has appeared. Thor, come on, come over here. Here he is. Look. I don't know if you can see him. I left him up so you can see him. Here, look. Can you see him there? You might not be able to. He's a good boy. He's coming. He's probably thinking that Lola was getting some food and he isn't. I'll ask my cameraman to see if he's in shot. Cameraman, is Thor in shot? Oh, don't wander off. He's going to lie down now, look. That's typical. Here we go. We lift him up. Ah, there he is. Now he's in shot. There he's come to say hello. No, Lola will get jealous because he's on my lap, I expect. Anyway, so that's what we're going to have today. So, of course, now the dogs have both come in. It means the door's open, which means we could have... Yes, here he is.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Candice.
Candice who?
Candice joke get any worse?
I keep wondering that every week. And every week it seems to manage to do it, doesn't he? So, Sammy, while we got a bit of peace and quiet, while the dogs are sitting quietly and the knock man's gone away, let's have our story. So hang on, I suppose I ought to recap where we were. Do you remember? After last week, Saul, one of the men who was persecuting Christians, had an amazing experience when he was travelling along the road, and he'd heard a powerful voice, Jesus speaking to him, and he'd been struck blind by a bright light. And we'd left him behind. He was still blind. So, Sammy, what's going to happen next, I wonder?
Okay. Saul got up, but when he opened his eyes, he could not see. So his friends took him by the hand and led him into Damascus. And there he waited for 3 days, not eating or drinking a thing. Meanwhile, Jesus spoke to one of his friends in Damascus, a man named Aeneas. Aeneas, he said, go to Straight Street. A man named Saul is staying there. He is blind, and I want you to heal him. Saul, cried Aeneas, but he's the one who's been arresting your followers and putting them to death. He doesn't like you, not at all. I know, said Jesus, but I like Saul, and I have plans for him. I'm going to send him round the world to tell people everywhere all about me. So Aeneas went. He laid his hands on Saul, and once again Saul could see. What is more, Saul decided there and then to follow Jesus too. He was baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit, and to show that he was a new person, he even took a new name. You can call me Paul from now on, he said. And Paul never grew tired of telling people that the man he hadn't liked him anyway, and had given him another chance. He never grew tired of talking about Jesus. Not at all. City after city, mile after mile, year after year, Paul travelled far and wide, facing danger every day, just so that people could hear about Jesus. Was Paul worried? Not at all. In every city he visited, he left behind a little church, a group of people who wanted to live like Jesus. But then Paul went to Jerusalem, and that's when he ran into big trouble. The religious leaders didn't like it when Paul said that Jesus was the special one that God had promised. The religious leaders were very angry when he said that Jesus really had to come back from the dead. And at last, the religious leaders arrested him, beat him, and some even wanted to kill Paul. But in the end, he was put in chains and sent to Rome to go on trial before the emperor himself. Was Paul worried? Not at all. He knew that God had said Paul would go to Rome to tell people there about Jesus, and now he was on his way. Paul was put on a ship with other prisoners, and the first journey went well. But then the wind changed. The ship slowed down, and by the time they reached Crete, it was running late. Was Paul worried? Not at all. He knew that it wasn't a good time of year to sail, and that if the ship stayed in Crete, everything would be all right. And that's what he told the men in charge. But they didn't want to wait. So off they sailed, across the choppy seas. It didn't take long for Paul's warning to come true. A hurricane blew, and the boat was blown around like a toy across water. The sailors did everything they could. They dropped the anchor, they threw the cargo overboard, they even held the battered boat together with ropes. But the storm went on, until all the food ran out, and it looked like everyone was going to die. Was Paul worried? Not at all. He knew God would keep them safe. Calmly he stood and spoke to others. I had a visit last night, from the angels. He told me that I would get to Rome safely. The ship was destroyed, run aground on an island, but we will survive, Saul said. And that's just what happened. The ship was wrecked off the island of Malta. At first, the soldiers and sailors thought only of themselves, but Paul convinced the men in charge that the angel's promise would only come true if everyone stuck together. So that's what they did, and everyone was saved. The people who lived on the island took care of the castaways, and after 3 months, they joined another ship sailing to Rome. In that big city, Paul had to stay in his house until the trial, so while he waited, he told everyone who visited him about Jesus. Was Paul worried about what would happen to him? Not at all. Instead, he was busy writing letters to all the churches he had started all over the world. And in one letter he said, "Don't be worried. Just be thankful and tell God what you need. Jesus will give you the peace of God, and that will help you face anything."
Wow, that is amazing, isn't it? So Saul, the man who had been chasing down Christians and persecuting them, became a Christian, and he was so changed he even changed his name. And then he became one of the people that wouldn't stop talking about Jesus, and so he was arrested. But in all of that adventure, in all of those difficult times, he trusted in God. That's amazing, isn't it? Hope you enjoyed the story, and now it's time for our craft. So I wonder what Angie's going to make today.
Hello and welcome to the Kids Club Craft Time. Today we heard about Paul and his journey on the boat and his shipwreck. So today I thought I'd do a little picture depicting that. So I've got some relevant coloured paper for sea and sky. I've pre-cut my boat shape just for ease, and a very jaunty yellow sail. And I have a lollipop stick, but we'll get to that in a minute. Also, I've had a rummage through my craft cupboard and I had some lovely paper with clouds on. So I've cut round them. I'm going to attach those onto the sky. So if we do that quickly, but you can make your own clouds out of white paper and maybe colour them in with crayons or colouring pencils. You can do all sorts of things. There we go, so there's my first cloud. And because this cloud was on the side of the paper that I cut it out, I'm going to put it on the side here. There we go, and then doesn't look out of place. So for the sea, Paul was on the shipwreck. His boat was shipwrecked because it was stormy. So I was going to cut in some waves. Ooh. Easier said than done. This is quite a stormy sea. I think he was travelling across the Mediterranean, and anyone that sails knows that can get a little choppy from time to time. Okay, so that is our stormy sea. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper over like that, and I'm going to cut just a little slot, just the thinnest piece of paper off this fold so it opens out. There we go. And then I'm going to slot this one in like this, so we've still got our sea and sky. So going on to the boat, I've stick these two together to make it into one piece. Ooh. Okay, and then I'm going to stick my lolly stick to the back. Okay, and then, ta-da! If you then slide your boat in there, you can make it sail along like that, and then, oh, it's sinking like that, which I thought was a bit of fun. But obviously everyone was fine in the story, and because Paul trusted in God, they got to their destination safely. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
That was fun, wasn't it? Why don't you have a go at making it yourself, or have a go at making some of the other things that Angie has made in the past in some of our other kids clubs. Now, Sammy is going to lead us in our final prayer.
Dear God, wherever the children of your world are at risk or suffering, please send someone to rescue them, someone strong and brave who can face the dangers for them, someone gentle and kind who can make them feel safe and loved. Bring us all to a place of safety in an uncertain world. Amen.
Amen. It's a great prayer, isn't it, for when times are a bit scary. I bet Paul was praying a prayer a bit like that when that ship was wrecked. Anyway, it's been fun. I hope you've enjoyed spending some time with us and with Lola and with Thor, even with the Knock Knock Man. So until we meet again, my friends, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. God bless. Lola. Could you make enough noise over there?